What's up, everybody? Welcome to BS Rebuild. I'm Chris. This is the Camaro. Quickie episode. If you saw the last episode, we just picked up this Camaro. We're in Chicago in the back of a hotel, and we're gonna fix up this Camaro and get it roadworthy over today and tomorrow, and then we're gonna hit the road. So the first thing we're gonna do is actually the last thing that was on our list. We're gonna throw some primer on this thing. Primering it for a couple of reasons. One, just blacker is better, so we're just gonna throw some black primer on there. Two is that at least I'll know that all the pieces of metal are covered in some sort of protective paint, although it shouldn't rain on the way home. If it does, that'll be better. So let's get some paint on this thing. Also, yeah, painting in Chicago, I think it's called the Windy City. I'm not sure, but bad idea. Time for an update. I've been getting across the car pretty well, getting decent coverage. Working on the roof. I just got the back taped off, popped the bumper off. Side's looking pretty good. So this is the first coat, and then I'm gonna block sand it down real quick. And then I'll do a coat of actual paint, which will protect from water, and that'll be the second step I'll show you guys. I'm going to just roll it on with high density foam rollers. You thin out some Rust-Oleum paint really well, and then you can roll it on. But overall, it's looking pretty good, and I think with that nice gloss hood on there, it's going to really pop. So I'm getting pretty excited. Alright, there's obviously a big grill that goes right here, and that is inside the car. I'm going to grab it and put it in. Okay, I feel really dumb. I was trying to install this thing upside down the whole time. You can tell I'm a little bit tired. Well, that was fun. That was a lot faster. Grill's on. I don't have the correct hardware for it, so it's time for some zip ties. All right, now that I put the grill on right side up, it goes on so much easier. And with a couple of zip ties, I mean, that thing's on there, so I'll go through a hurricane. I don't know why they don't use zip ties from factory. I got the fog lights wired in. They don't have a really solid ground connection though, and I'm not gonna drill holes in this frame right now. So I'm just gonna kind of risk it. I'll maybe try and find an adapter or a bolt while we're on the road. Next thing is I snuck these fog lights from my BRZ with us on the trip, thinking I might use them for something. And now that I have this car, I might use them for something. So I just gave Jeff a call, and hopefully he'll come join me with his zip tie mastery. His headlight is still zip tied on 2,000 miles later. He's not even had to adjust it. So I trust that guy with, he could zip tie just about anything. So I don't know, the coolest way to do some retro modded headlights for a 2013/1968 Camaro, but it's gonna look pretty rad. I'm gonna have Jeff zip tie these things up, and then we'll hit the lights and make sure they work. Alright, slight change of plans. We are going with the original headlights, which got a nice little coat of black. We're gonna throw those in there. We don't have the bezels that go around them, but oh well. Then we took our BRZ fogs, dropped them down, pro zip tie job. They're gonna be down there, and they're gonna be running with our running lights. And that will probably be the biggest source of light. So we tested them out, and they are the most powerful light on this car, so we wanted to make sure to include them, and they kind of look kind of cool. So we'll check back in once we got all the lights on and show you guys a little light test. Cool. So Jeff and I, we got the grill on, and then we decided to go for the headlights. So we got the headlights painted a little bit of black around them, headlights both on, and then we got our BRZ fog lights. Can't leave home without a little BRZ in you. So we got a bunch of we got all the lighting done clearly, and let's do a little light test real quick. So I got the keys. So I'm going to try and do an auxiliary. So this is halfway out.
Yep.
Do we have fogs or everything?
Fogs, the grill fogs, no headlights though.
No headlights. And then headlights.
That one's not connected.
Oh, I didn't plug it in.
Yeah.
Hold. Hang on, trusty viewers. We can make this happen. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Plug it all the way in. Alright. We got lights. So last thing I'm going to do tonight that I'm not going to film because who cares is I'm going to heat wrap the starter. Starters on these cars get really hot when you drive them, and then when you stop they don't want to start again. So you do a little heat shielding, help keep it cool. And then the driver's side mirror and the passenger side mirror tomorrow we'll do after we have a coat of paint on the car. And then that gets us on our go list, so the next day we can hit the road. And I'll try and get through the rest of the kind of optional things also tomorrow, and we'll hit the road the next day. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, we're back. It's day 2. I have to try and be a little bit quiet because people are still sleeping. The sun's hitting the car, it's taking all the moisture off of it, so I think I'm good to start block sanding down this primer. I tried to shoot from an angle where you can kind of see where we got some spatter marks over here and over there. That was just the rattle can acting up while I was spraying it. So I got 1000 grit sandpaper and a sanding block. And I'm just going to sand this whole thing down before we roll over a coat of paint. Oh, and another update. So we got our go no-go list. It's somewhere. All the no-go stuff is done, meaning we can drive, so we're leaving tomorrow no matter what. Today is basically just doing the fun stuff, adding little niceties to the car so it's going to be better to drive home. So I'll get the door panels on, get the spoiler on, and some other fun things that are all optional, except for the mirrors. The mirrors are the last thing that we absolutely have to do, but those should be easy. So we're good to hit the road tomorrow.
Alright, we got the Camaro wet sanded all the way around. I started with the dry sanding up there, and it just started to kill my sandpaper, so I just switched to wet sanding. So I wet sanded the entire car down, and the only issue that I'm worried about is how to get all this gunk off. Normally you'd take a hose and a sponge, you know, and you could just clean it all off, but we're here at a hotel and there's no hose, so I have no idea how we're going to try and get all this stuff off. Taking a big 5-gallon bucket of water, hopefully. So next step, we'll clean this off and then we'll get our paint mixed up so we can roll it on. So we're here mixing up our paint, and we're going to try this method of painting with Rust-Oleum. You thin it out a lot and you use a high density roller to get it on the car. So for our color, I really wanted a satin black, but the store didn't have any of that. So we have 3 things of gloss, 1 thing is semi-gloss, and a little bit of gray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all of these and just a touch of gray to kind of lighten it up a little bit. We're going to throw them all in this, and then we're going to throw paint thinner on there, cut it 50% with paint thinner. I'm really excited to try this. I've never done this before, so this is really interesting. I think we're fully mixed. So next stage is we're gonna keep a lid on this when we're not using it. That way no dust or debris will fly in here, or less dust and debris will fly in here. And we'll pull it out into our paint roller, and Jeff and I are just gonna start painting on the car.
And keeping the lid on will keep the paint thinner from evaporating.
That is another good point. How do I look? Okay, paint is soaking into my ass right now. I assume we're filming? All right, everybody, people, YouTube. So what happened? We rolled the paint on, and then I didn't think it looked very good, and I ran inside and I started reading about it, and turns out it's not supposed to look good. The first coat looks pretty bad, second coat looks pretty bad. It gets better and better and better. But one thing I found out by reading online is, like, in a lot of the tutorials, people aren't telling you timing and the timing to wait, and it turns out that you want to wait like 5 to 6 hours between coats and do 6 coats of this before it's going to look decent. So rolling on Rust-Oleum, although it probably would have worked, we don't have the time for that. And me and paint just never seem to get along either, so of course it wasn't doing very good. So I wet sanded it back down, not as far, not down to the primer, but pretty far down. And I'm starting to see that, you know, some of the primer work that was on there before, they sprayed some pretty thick body filler primer on here that needs to be power sanded all the way back down. So no matter what we do, it's not going to look super great. But I did run out to the store. I got satin black. That's the color I actually wanted for this car. Got it in a spray can. I got one of these handy dandy spray nozzles. I wasn't able to feel anything with my index finger for like the last 24 hours, and I didn't really remember why, and then I remembered it was from all of this spraying, just killed the tip of my finger. So I got one of these, got 5 cans of these. I'm gonna tape off the car, then I'm gonna paint it, and however that looks is it, because then we're going onto the road tomorrow. Stay tuned. Well, the camera can't really focus on anything because it's so dark out, but it became night while I was working, and I have no idea what I just did. I think it's gonna look ridiculous in the morning, but oh well, we gotta go. So for the rest of tonight, I gotta put on the side mirrors, the rear bumper, and the rear spoiler, and then pack my bags and get ready to go tomorrow. And maybe on the road I'll put a couple more coats on, try and make it look a little bit more legit. I guess that's it for today. Peace. Here's our no-go list. We were all the way down to here, and we just needed to get these 2 done. So we got the driver mirror and the passenger mirror on just now. Jeff and I did that in the dark. It was wonderful. Paint, that was a fail. The paint looks terrible. And proper BS for build fashion. We just don't do paint well, so oh well. 12 volts of console, we got that done. Badges, I don't know, that's optional. Got the spoiler on. I'm gonna grease the locks on the road. We got the door handles on, we got the window rollers on, and we got the door panels on. So the interior of the car is looking mint. So we are good to hit the road tomorrow. What's up, everybody? It's 8 a.m. the day we're heading out. I gotta be a little quiet. Most of the hotel's still sleeping. But like I said, I would show you the aftermath of the paint job on the car. So here she is. Let's start with the positives. It's clearly keeping the water out. Jeff and I did not read the weather report very well. We did not think there would be this much moisture out. Other positive is from 5 to 10 feet back, it actually looks like the bad parts are just where I missed a coat. It actually looks like the paint kind of went on okay. We chipped a lot of paint off the spoiler, putting her on there yesterday. But I think what this means is I could just throw another coat on while we're on the road once we get into drier areas, and it should look pretty good overall. So the next steps, you can see we got our mirror on there, and on the other side, these old cars are actually pretty easy to work with, and everything kind of went together good. So next steps, I'm just gonna pull the masking off and get the interior ready, and then I gotta get the car packed and we'll hit the road.
What's up, everybody? Sorry it's so bumpy and sorry it's so noisy. We're on the road. We're finally on the road. Camaro's doing great. You know, this morning I sat down and I had a little talk with it, and I was like, you know, just get home and I promise I'll never paint you again. I'll let a professional handle it, and I think it's playing with the rules. So far we got about 100 miles under our belt, maybe more like 60 miles under our belt, but it's feeling good. It's not eating through fuel too drastically. I've gone through about a quarter tank, so I'm guessing I'm getting like 10 to 11 mpgs. One thing that's kind of a bummer is this car has a different gear ratio than stock. So the car's at an RPM level and a speed level that, you know, it thinks it's going 80, but really we're going 63 right now. So I can honestly say I've never been passed by more cars than right now. But you know, it's kind of steady cruising, and I'm feeling good. I'm just hoping she holds up. Yeah.
Here I am putting on my super fancy grenade valve stem caps. Street cred.
Nice. Ordered those from China for $1. Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the second morning of our cannonball back home. We are in Des Moines, Iowa, and the car was not doing great last night on the last leg of the trip. I'm not sure how much of it is to do with the fact that I put it in an ethanol mixed gasoline, and that may have advanced the timing a little bit and made the car sound pretty bad. But this belt on the alternator, we actually flipped our zip tie solution around to pull the alternator back a little bit more, but it's misaligned, and that's why it's squeaking. So we're actually going to get the wrenches out and try and do a solid fix, and then we're going to go through and do levels. You can see that, you know, the block's got some signs of some oil leaking and some stuff like that. So we're gonna check all the levels, transmission, oil levels. There's an exhaust leak on the bottom that we're gonna try and use our aluminum wrap tape from our car cooking episode and apply that. Hopefully just plug up at least some of the sound so I can tell where these new sounds are coming from. And yeah, and we'll try and get her on the road and see how she performs. What's up, guys? Today. Update. It is about 9:25, and I took a look at that alternator belt and stuff, and the belt was definitely misaligned, but the alternator is shaking itself, alternator bracket and alternator basically shaking itself loose. So that's probably why it was sounding much worse towards the end of the trip. There's 2 bolts that go into the engine block that hold the headers on and the bracket, and one of those is really loose. So I'm heading to a store to buy a set of open-ended English measurement wrenches, because all I have is metric from us working on only import cars. So I'm gonna grab some English wrenches, come back, and hopefully by about 10 o'clock we can get that alternator back on. I'll have Jeff help me and we'll tension it down nicely and try and get out of here on time so we can put in another long day today. It's kind of funny, we watched a bunch of episodes of Roadkill to prepare for this V8 extravaganza. It's starting to feel a little bit roadkilly, but you know, they tend to have to buy new parts every time they head out, but it's fun. This is really fun. This is my favorite part of all this stuff. Just happy, you know, it didn't break down on the road or anything, and yeah, get to fix the car and get it back on the road. Feels good. Okay. Quick recap. What time is it? It's 11:15. We're gonna hit the road. We got 6 hours to put on the cars today, so hopefully we'll cross the time zone barrier and gain an hour back. We retensioned the alternator and bolted everything back down, but it's still got squeak issues. It's pretty lame. Topped off. Okay. Topped off quarter oil and found some ATF under the chassis while we were taping up the exhaust. So definitely leaking ATF, which we'll fill up on our first pit stop. So I'll update you guys once I figure out how she drives on the road. We did it! I'm so happy right now. Got this thing at 85, no squeaks. That belt is tight and it's holding up and it sounds all right. Car sounds good. Top off some ATF. Put 300 or 400 miles under it again today. I'm just so excited. I'm so happy that we got that belt problem fixed up. Woo! Hell yeah. Okay, it turned out we only temporarily fixed the squeaking problem. Later in the afternoon, yesterday the car got much hotter and the squeak came back. I'm hoping that's just from things rattling, getting a little bit loose. So I bought some medium Loctite. We'll put that on this bolt. We'll tighten up the, we're gonna tighten up the, this thing, the alternator. It's early still. We're gonna tighten up the alternator. And then last night we went down to the auto parts store and we picked up a Tack. I'm really concerned with how high I'm kind of wrapping out this engine to get onto highway speeds. So we got this Tack, and Jeff and I are going to install that, and we'll just do a quick overview on how we did that. All right, we've got our Tack temporarily hooked up. If anybody wants to know how to do this as fast as possible, it's pretty simple. White wire on the back of the Tack that goes to the lamp inside it, don't use it. Positive and negative, use a cigarette lighter power adapter like that one right there. Run the positive and negative to the back of the Tack. Run the green wire through your firewall. And on a small block Chevy, your distributor right here, it says Tack on top. It's a little bit hard to focus. It says Tack on top right here. Brown wire going into that. We just met our wire up at the bottom of it and zip tied it to hold it in place. So this is a very temporary solution just so I can see. I just want to make sure I'm not driving the car down the highway redlining it the whole time. So next we're going to tighten down the alternator and then hit the road. Hey everybody, time for a really loud update. Tightening up the belts this morning, made the squeak go away once again. Hopefully that'll hold. If not, there's some other tricks we can do. We got the Tack installed, and it's not nearly as bad of a situation as we thought. Car is cruising at about a little under 3,000 RPMs. So this is safe to hold the engine at this speed, and we're doing all right. So this episode's gotten a little bit long. We're on our way to Colorado today. I think we're gonna cut this episode here, and we'll pick back up filming if we have any other interesting things while we're on the road. Oh man, I almost forgot. BSforBuild.com has some links to some other things. Hashtag BSforBuild on Instagram. Feel free to use it for any of your projects and share with us. BSforBuild is on Facebook now, so check us out on Facebook. You can get some, kind of extra content that way, some photos we post while we're on the road, and be notified when we post videos on YouTube. So check that out, BSforBuild.com, BSforBuild on Instagram, and BSforBuild on the Facebook. We're in some podunk town in Colorado. You may notice I'm driving around in Jeff's car because mine decided to blow out a tire on a freeway on-ramp, which is not fun. Then we ran around to every single tire center here, and they're all closed because it's Sunday. So then we raced to Walmart, which some local said has a tire center, and they happen to have a tire. So we swapped out the tire. Then while I was in Walmart, I realized I don't have the car keys with me. So I either lost them on the trip, which would be terrible, or I locked them in the car. So I bought a fishing pole, and I'm gonna unlock the car with a fishing pole. And then we're going to O'Reilly Auto Parts right now to pick up some lug nuts because the car didn't have enough lug nuts on it. I found out once I popped the wheel off. So add more lug nuts, open car with fishing pole, succeed. Turns out I won't have to use my fishing pole unlocking mechanism. I craftily hid the keys in the trunk. Future note, not a good idea to leave all your clothes and possessions in a car and the keys in them and whatever. I'm starving and I'm tired. Let's fix this car and get out of here. All right, we did it. We got the wheel on. I had guessed since this wheel was short lug nuts, I went over to that wheel and I bought extra lug nuts. That wheel was missing a lug nut, so Jeff helped me while I was putting the wheel back on. He threw another lug nut on. We have 2 inflated wheels. We got 4 inflated wheels. Even better, we're ready to go to a camp spot so we can eat dinner and drink Coors Light. We're in Colorado, so what are you doing here in Colorado? You tap the Rockies. Fuck this, let's go to bed.
Right.
I'm kidding. All right.
3.2 Coors, no less.
Oh yeah. Liquor stores are closed on Sundays in Colorado. Thank you very much, Colorado. You can't buy beer at grocery stores, except you can buy 3.2 beer, which is 3.2% alcohol. So I got 18 of them, and I'm gonna drink every single one of them bitches. No idea if you can see us. This has been a hell of an episode of BS for Build. We're just working our way home, but we're having fun overcoming some challenges. Today was a little sketchy because I really didn't want to have to leave my car here overnight. We're on a freeway on-ramp. I mean, it's a bad spot to be.
This is a tiny town.
This is a tiny little podunk town.
Very little wealth in the community. So a nice car like this, leaving it on the side of the road with the wheel off, scary.
Yeah. So thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and thanks for hanging in there with us. That's it. Peace.
Later.